Fab. Okay then. So let me introduce myself very quickly. So my name is Alison Bradford. Hopefully you know that now. And I have over 14 years experience in the corporate world. So I've worked in senior roles in both Vodafone and Swinton Insurance. Then back in June 2011, I set up my own business, Alison Bradford Coaching. And now I work with business owners of small businesses who are ambitious and looking to grow their business and to make more profit, but without necessarily putting in more and more of their precious time. Now, I do have an offer for those of you who do stay with me till the end. There is something that I'm going to offer to you as well. So please, I hope you can stick with me. And we should be around 45 minutes or so, just to give you an idea of when we'll be done. Now, I'm also known as the profitability coach, and these are some little sound bites that some of my clients have said about me and from working with me. So, effective and invaluable, in no way wishy-washy, inspirational, common sense approach, challenging yet supportive. And my clients will often tell me that I have a knack of somehow being able to simplify the seemingly complicated and to spot easy ways that my clients can get a bigger return on the time that they're investing in their business. So back in the day, I trained as an accountant originally. I actually started working back in my early career for a company called the Cordwell Group. So you may be familiar with a guy called John Cordwell. He's pretty well known now, pretty much billionaire, I think he is now. He started out in Staffordshire in the mobile phone industry, and I started out my career working in one of his businesses. So I had a great grounding working for a very, very ruthless, to be perfectly honest, entrepreneur. I learned so much about business there working for him, and I trained as an accountant, but to be perfectly honest, found working in accounts a bit boring, soon tired of that. And so I ended up moving sideways into project management. So as project manager, building teams, love doing that, getting people together around the table, getting ideas out, building plans, facilitating, overcoming problems and obstacles and all of that brilliant stuff and making stuff happen. So I loved all of that. And, from working within the Caldwell Group, the company I worked for was actually acquired by Vodafone. So had some great corporate experience and then going off to work for Swinton Insurance as well. But do you know what? It all started to feel a little bit like this, like walking through this thick black treacle as you felt you were constrained by the office politics. Yes, I don't know whether you can relate to this. If you've worked in these environments where you've got all these egos, the director egos, and a lack of decision making. People that are just unwilling to stick their neck out and make a decision on something. So I started to feel a bit frustrated by all of this corporate life. And then one day I was working in Manchester and I was driving back home to where I lived at the time, still do, in Staffordshire. I was there on the M6 and I had a moment. Have you ever had one of these moments where you kind of put your head in the palm of your hands? It's like, what the hell am I doing? There I was on the M6 driving home. The windscreen wipers were going 10 to the dozen. The rain was pelting down. Visibility was bad, and I was far too close to the car in front. It's like this pressure race to get home at commuting time, about 6 p.m. on the motorways. Everyone's far too close. Just think, God, what the hell am I doing here? I had a 3-year-old daughter who was trying to rush home to get to see her. And I was about 6 months pregnant at the time as well with our second daughter. And I just thought, you know what, there's got to be a better way to be able to earn money and to have a career than to be doing this and spending far too much time away from my family. So there I am, fed up of, pretty much I'd walk in the door at night and start bitching about work. Have you had a good day? No, no, I haven't. This person's done this person hasn't done what they're supposed to, and generally bitching about work. You just think, God, what kind of role model am I setting for my daughter and for my second daughter who's to be? They're going to grow up thinking work's just a horrible thing, and I didn't want that. So, I thought there's got to be a different way. So whilst I was on my maternity leave with my second daughter, I started looking at different options, started looking at what else can I do? What can I do where I can use my love of business, my love of all that commerciality and getting things done and making things happen, but do it in a way that fits more around where I am in my life, with having a young family so I can be there more for them. Um, and yeah, and still be able to go and deliver some value. That was still important to me. So there I was on maternity leave, researching options, and the first thing I went to was, okay, this is my first logo. I set up a business in June 2011, looking at working with mums who were looking to set up a business. So yeah, a bit cringe factor now. If you can see the logo that's on screen, this was the first one I had done. So there I was, off thinking, there's loads of people like me doing this, setting up a business because they want to have something that fits around their family. The corporate world doesn't work for them anymore. So about a year later, another head in the palm of the hands moment. So if you had one of these, so this is my embarrassing moment, because I found myself on the sofa a year later, set up this business, and I was on the sofa with this guy here. So if you can see my screen, you can see a picture of the lovely, rather lovely Jeremy Kyle. As lovely as he is, I don't think it's productive use of your time to be sat on the sofa watching him when you're trying to run a business. So I was there, got a 1-year-old then, and I'd been really faffing about. I'd been faffing about, playing with my business, and nothing much was happening. Hence, time to sit on the sofa and watching these awful programs. So this was a bit of a low point for me, thinking, for God's sake, you've got to sort this out. Either prove it can work or move on and go back to doing something else. And so I got serious, and I sorted out my pricing. My pricing had been far too low, and it's something I see time and time again now with my clients and other business owners. My pricing was just embarrassingly low. I completely changed my target clients. So I shifted from this mum starting a business, which was all very lovely, but you get lots of hobby businesses in that area that weren't really ever going to earn a serious turnover that would justify working with a coach like myself. So I redefined who I wanted to be working with, and most importantly, I hired a business coach, and I got my focus back. So there I was, 2012, summer of 2012, and I quickly figured out I needed to be super focused and productive too, to be able to bring in the income I wanted to bring in around the time that I wanted to be working. Because one of the other reasons I wanted to leave the corporate world, I didn't want the whole 21-day holiday limit and all those long hours. That wasn't where I wanted to be. So I got serious and I sorted it out, and that was over 3 years ago now. And where I am now is I work with business owners of small businesses. And when I say small, anything from a solo entrepreneur, where they're the only person in their business, employed by their business, up to 10 employees. And I help them to figure out how they can work smarter and not harder in their business. And I take them through my 6 steps of business growth model. And I'm going to be going into some of that with you guys right now. So we're going to be looking at step 4 of my 6 steps of business growth, which is around focus and how you can get the biggest return on the time that you're investing. Yeah. Your time is precious. And I see this time and time again where business owners, there's 2 precious resources, your money, your time. And most business owners put more thought into how they spend and invest their money than how they're investing their time. So that's what I'm going to look to start shifting for you right now. So let's have a look at how most business owners prioritize. Most business owners prioritize based on this. It's who is shouting the loudest. Yeah? Does that sound familiar? Or they're reacting to other people's priorities. So, it might be your customers sending you emails, you've got phone messages you need to ring to, you've got other business owners who want to meet with you to talk about something, and you end up reacting to other people all the time. And you end up feeling a bit like this, like a firefighter rather than a business owner. You start your day with all these good intentions, this is going to be the day that I'm going to work on this project, or I'm going to get this thing off my to-do list today. And then stuff happens and you end up putting out fires. Yeah? Does that sound familiar? Okay. But let's have a look instead. So let's have a look at how productive business owners prioritize. So they're operating more strategically. They are working smarter, not harder. They're figuring out the quickest and easiest way to get where they want to be. And they're operating a bit more like a chess player in their business than a firefighter. So they are, recognizing where they want to be, and they're making sure that every move is taking them there in the quickest possible way. Yeah. So running a business, lots of business owners I see have this really high work ethic, which is all very great and honourable, and that's something to be admired. But sometimes that makes them into this, or it takes them down this path of where they think, if I just work harder, if I just put in more hours, then it will all become good. And trust me, it's really not always about putting in more and more hours and working harder and harder and harder. So one of the things that I'm going to share with you now is how to prioritize. Yeah. So you've probably seen this before, this distinction between the urgent and the important. Yeah. So this is a key distinction that you've got to start to be able to make as a business owner who's working smarter, not harder. You've got to distinguish between what's urgent and what's important. So let's start to define that with you guys now. So urgent is more, it's the reactive. It's when you've got your firefighter's hat on, yeah? So it tends to be more short term. So those are things like dealing with emails. Hopefully you're not having your emails open all the time and flicking in and out, yeah? That is not good use of your time. Phone calls, it's answering the phone. Do you answer your phone every time it rings? That again is reacting. You're reacting. Customer demands. We all have customer demands, and of course it's important as small businesses to be able to offer really excellent service to our customers, but that doesn't mean reacting every time they say jump. Yeah, every time they ask a question or have a query about something. So customer demands. And the final one is, just a question. So these are examples. You might be asking questions from, other business owners, asking questions, picking your brains on something. Yeah, but it's all taking you away from the important stuff. So those are examples of urgent type tasks that you may be spending time on now. And we want to shift you over to spending more time on the important things. And the important things are things that are going to contribute to your long-term goals. So things like working on your marketing, things like strategy, your business planning, and your personal learning and development. Again, often that gets overlooked as business owners, that you're the biggest asset within your business. And how are you investing in growing your own skills and knowledge? So there's some examples of important tasks. Now, what I want you to do now, hopefully you've all got a pen and paper there. I want you to just quickly have a think about what you did yesterday. And if yesterday wasn't a typical day, then just think of a typical day and start to write down all the little things that you did yesterday. Take a couple of minutes now to do that. Okay, so hopefully you've written down a list of either what you did yesterday or typically what you're doing each day. And don't miss things out. Things like spending time on social media, reading documents, whatever it is, make sure you've got it all down. Okay, now what I would like you to do next is to put a star by anything that truly falls into the important category. Yeah. And I say truly because oh, but everything's important. No, everything isn't important. And if you're here now with me on this call, it suggests, time is an issue. You don't have enough of it right now. So you've got to get really good at distinguishing between these two types of things. Think about what's bringing money into the business, directly bringing money into the business. So put a star by any of those things that are important. And then you have to challenge yourself to look at what's left, those things that don't have stars by, why are you doing them? And you've got to start to shift your days and your time to be much more focused on the important type of work rather than the urgent. Or certainly we'll look at some strategies for dealing with some of those urgent things as well to take them out of your time. Okay, so we're going to have a look now. That's about important versus urgent. Now we're going to have a look at another little great tool that can help you prioritize, and this is called the Eisenhower Matrix. Not made it up. It's a proper tool that's out there. I love a 2x2. I love things that are simple, and this is a nice simple way to again prioritize. And you can actually take your to-do list. If you've got it there, you can take your to-do list and start mapping it in. So this is a simple 2x2 matrix, yeah? On the horizontal axis is the label urgent, and on the vertical axis is the label important. So we have a box, so anything that's urgent and important, because there are those things as well, things that have a deadline against and it's going to deliver money directly into your business. That might be getting a quote out to a prospect. It's important because it could be bringing more business in and there's probably a deadline on it. That's the do it now. Yeah, so that is the stuff that you start with. Do it now. Top right hand box. Then over on the left, we've got the stuff that's important, but it's not urgent. So this is more likely to be the types of things that are about your business. So if you don't do it, no one's going to come back and say, oh, why haven't you done this? Or you're late. But it's going to grow your business in some way. Yeah. So those are the types of things that need to be scheduled in, and that's often the stuff that gets left. There's those big projects you want to work on, or looking at a new piece of, writing the copy on your website, or, doing some of the marketing or business planning type work, doing your 2016 business plans. Yeah, if it's not happening, it's because it's not scheduled in. So anything that's important but not urgent, get your diary out, book the time in to do it. You've got to give yourself the deadlines, yeah? Then we have the bottom left is the stuff that's, well, it's not important and it's not urgent. So you might think, well, why the heck is that even on there? I don't have anything. You might say, I don't have anything that's not urgent or not important on my list. How silly. Well, I challenge you to, show me your to-do list and let me have a look and see if I can spot something. These typical things in here, these are the things that you don't always recognize you're doing, wasting time on social media. That's a big thing nowadays, isn't it? Maybe you've gone in thinking, oh, I'll look for something and justified it, and I'll look for some interesting article that will help me with this, that, or the other. But you end up looking at what your friends were doing last night or looking at the funny videos that are on there. Before you know it, half an hour's gone. So this is the stuff that often isn't on our to-do list. So you've got to watch out for what's not important and not urgent and just take it off. Stop doing it, eliminate it. And then at the bottom right corner, we have the things that are urgent but not important. So these are your firefight type things, yeah? So that is the phone ringing. Oh God, the phone's ringing. It's there, it's now, it's urgent, but it's not important. And actually, when you answer it, it's someone who's saying, oh, I understand you had an accident in the last year, or would you like to be on page 1 of Google? And it's distracted you from what you're doing. So these are the types of things. Anything that's urgent but not important, these are the types of areas that we need to look at delegating. So they still might need doing. So your phone still needs answering somehow. Customer queries absolutely need responding to. but you don't necessarily need to do it, or you certainly don't necessarily need to do it now. So that's the area to start looking at delegating, anything that's urgent but not important. So yeah, go ahead. You may have done it now. If not, get your to-do list, if you like to-do lists, and start to map it in there. But for God's sake, if everything comes out in the important and urgent, do it now, come back to me, because I'll go through it and I'll absolutely challenge it and find some stuff to move around there. So there we go. That is how to prioritize. So it's getting that distinction clear on what's important versus what's urgent. And then you've got this tool here, this Eisenhower matrix. When you start to feel a bit overwhelmed with your to-do list, go and plot it in there, and that will help you to know what you need to be starting with. So now let us have a look at how to get over your DIY-itis. Yeah. So do you like to do most things yourself in your business? Yeah. Are you a bit of a control freak, secretly or not so secretly? hmm So I think lots of business owners, if not all business owners actually, are control freaks. I think we all like to know what's going on to the too much detail sometimes in our business. But that holds us back, and it's going to hold you back. So trying to do everything yourself, what happens? This is okay, yeah, when you're starting out. So if you're in your first few months of business, then you have the time. Time isn't such an issue. It's all about getting out there, getting customers on board, and you have the time to do most things in your business yourself. But what happens is at some point, without realizing it, you make this shift into growth. You come out of startup into growth, but you don't realize it. And you're still behaving as a startup, and you're still trying to do most things, if not everything, yourself. Are you catching yourself saying, oh, well, why should I pay someone else to do it when I can do it myself? Or, oh, by the time I've trained someone to do it, it would just be quicker if I do it first. Yeah? Those are those red warning lights going off saying, oh, these might be things that I need to delegate and holding on to. So let's have a look at how we can get you over your do-it-yourself itis. Firstly, go back to that delegate box that we've just looked at. See what things have come in there. What are you spending time on that is urgent, not important? And see how we can get those delegated. Now, the other thing to say here on delegation is, I don't know, you guys now might have different size of businesses. You might have a small team, you might have an admin assistant, you might have a virtual assistant, or you might not have anyone. This isn't about necessarily going and hiring employees. The great thing is nowadays, when you're running a business, there's loads of people who can help you with all different areas, and you can just buy as much or as little as you need of their time. So the things that I always recommend beginning with as well are the lower cost areas to get help with. Yeah. So particularly saying, oh, why should I pay someone else? I can do it myself. Or sometimes people will go, oh, well, I hate sales. I hate doing the sales in the business. I'm just going to pay someone to come and do the sales for me. So firstly, no, never outsource your sales, first of all. You need to be doing that yourself and learning it, and it's a highly paid skill set to get someone who's decent at it. I would always say begin with the lower cost. That's a nice way to ease into it. So to give you some examples that I'm sharing on the screen here with you now, there's a website called Fiverr.com. Fiverr.com, and on that site you can buy pretty much anything that you need for $5. So that can be great for small little things like small pieces of graphic design work that you might need, or a voiceover for something, or go and have a look, but don't get drawn in there. It's definitely it's probably full on your eliminating how to prioritize the matrix, because you can get drawn in. So I say set a timer for 5 minutes and go and have a look at all the kinds of things you can buy in there. But it's $5, it's amazing what people will do for $5. My tip, if you are going to buy something on Fiverr.com, is to pitch your work to 2 to 3 different people. So you're still only spending $10 or $15, but you're getting 2 or 3 pieces of work to choose from at the end instead. Other lower cost areas that you should be outsourcing and getting help with are your admin support. Yeah, so there's the phrase, if you don't have an admin assistant, then you are an admin assistant. So you can outsource your admin in your business relatively cheaply. and relatively low risk, because again, there's lots of virtual assistant type people out there who will do this on a by as many hours as you need, and you're not committed. So if you don't need them on a regular basis, then you're not committed to pay out for that. So admin support is another great one. To you probably didn't start your business to do admin unless you are a virtual assistant. So if you didn't start your business to do admin, get someone else to help do it relatively cheaply. Call answering, call handling, that's another great one to outsource. You know, again, it comes back to this urgent, not important, the phone ringing. You know, there's a couple of reasons. One, if you keep answering your phone every time it rings, it's always interrupting your flow. And half the time nowadays it is some kind of spammy PPI claim or something else that someone's trying to talk to you about, and it interrupts the flow of what you're trying to do. But secondly, you may not want to be that accessible because you're setting an expectation. If customers are calling and you always answer straight away, you're setting that expectation with them that you are always available. Now, you might be thinking, well, that's a great thing to do. I want them to think that. But that time when you don't answer your phone, then they're going to start to feel a bit irked. Where are you? Where's Alison? She hasn't answered the phone. She always answers it straight away. Whereas you need to educate them that you may not be able to answer your phone straight away, but you'll always get back to them within a certain time. So I think as long as customers' expectations are clearly set, that's when you can deliver great customer service. It's not about always being there to deal with any demands or questions that they've got. It's setting their expectations. So call answering, again, is something that you can outsource in your business, really low cost. And actually, very often, some of the services I see nowadays are much more professional than you're probably doing it as well. So look at that. Now, the other area where you need to get over your DIY-itis, doing it yourself, is looking at where you need specialists. So where you're doing a bit of a bodge job, basically now, you think, oh, I don't want to pay someone else, I'll just try and do it myself. So again, it's a startup thing. You have the time, you know, maybe you have the time to mess about, try and do things on your website or techie stuff or design stuff or doing your bookkeeping. You know, they're all examples of really specialist areas that you should be getting help with. So accountants, bookkeepers, graphic designers, techie people, people who know what they're doing, have been trained and have built up a lot of expertise. It's the kind of jobs where you do it, you think, God, you know, design, an example for me, design. I'm crap at design. I like things to look nice. I get it in my head, can't get it out onto paper or online at all, and it always looks crap. So now I just don't bother. I know I need to pay an expert, and there's a huge difference in the quality I'll get. So where do you need the specialists in your business? And go and get them. So once you've figured out what you're going to let go of, and just pick something to start with. So if you've not done anything yet, pick something. If you're already doing some of this, think, what's my next area to get help with? Yeah. Once you've done it, the first thing is to do communicate clearly. So what I see sometimes is people, and you may be feeling like this, or this may resonate with you, where it's like, oh, I don't want to let go of anything. I'm controlling. No one can do it as good as me. And suddenly it's like, oh yeah, it would be lovely actually if I get rid of this. Yep, I'm going to find someone. I'm going to do it. Pff, here you go. And it's that hot potato catch, throw it over. Ah, it's gone from me. I feel great. It's off my to-do list. And then guess what? It goes wrong. When it comes back, it's not right. And then you go, oh, why did I bother? I'm never doing this again. It doesn't work. I'll just do it all myself again. So you have to, when you're delegating and outsourcing or just employing people that you know you need to pass responsibilities to, you've got to communicate clearly. You've got to tell people clearly, and again, that's, you know, on Fiverr.com, even on websites, what it is you're looking for, very clearly what you're looking for, what the check-in points are. So if it's a bigger piece of work, it's a, well, you know, let's meet at this point to see how you're doing, how you're going to check the quality of it. So, you know, someone's answering your calls, how do you want those messages to come back to you? So you have to delegate effectively and you communicate clearly. That is the key to it all. You have to communicate clearly. Don't assume. You know what assume makes. And then finally, you just have to do it. So pick something right now that you're going to delegate or outsource and get it done. So that is how you're going to get over your DIY-itis. So the third point I'm going to be sharing with you now is the one thing that you need to do every day when you're working in your business. And this is it feels like it's a bit of a secret, but it's not really because it's so simple. It's such a simple thing that you can do. And it's about putting in power hours. So if you're never getting around to doing some of this more strategic, be important, yeah, because you've got that distinction now, those important things, if they're not happening, this is what you need to do to make them happen. And it's put in power hours where you set aside time each and every day to work on those important jobs. Now, here is the trick to making power hours work, because lots of people say, yeah, great, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. But first of all, I'm going to do all this stuff. I'm going to do the urgent stuff because it's got deadlines. I've got client work I need to get done. It's got a deadline. And then if I've got time or whatever time I've got left at the end of the day, that's when I'll do this. And then what happens is the end of the day comes around, you're like, oh, I've spent all day fighting fires. Do you know what? I'm worn out. I just want to sit and chill out. I don't feel like doing this. I'll do it tomorrow. And then we get into this Groundhog Day. So if you are serious about getting some of the important stuff done in your business, this is how you make power hours work. You do them right at the start of every day. Yeah? Before you begin to do anything else. So before you open your emails, your social media, maybe before you open your computer, you may not need a computer. I don't know what your important things are that you need to do, but do it first thing. I often use the gym analogy. So this is something for me, when I'm trying to keep fit, it's quite important to me. I've started running in the last couple of years. And when I started out, it would be an evening thing, and then be, oh, I feel tired, I want something to eat, and don't really feel like going now, it's dark. And the best way for me to run or get any exercise in is right at the start of a day. And no, I don't jump out of bed going, yay, I'm going to go for a run, it's fantastic, I'm so motivated. I don't try not to think about it. It just happens. I just think, right, get it done, get it done. Don't want to do it, just get it done first. And then I can feel smug for the rest of the day, feeling like, yeah, I've done it. Aren't I great? Rather than thinking, oh, I've got to go for a run this evening, or I need to go to the gym this evening, don't want to, don't want to. So it's just the same with some of this important stuff in your business. Do it first. You're going to have more energy to get it done first, and then it's done. You're not wasting mental energy thinking about it all day. Oh, I really need time to work on that. Oh, I don't feel like it. Or I've got this fire that's come up I need to put out instead. So do it first. Now, one of the other things is you may be thinking, oh, I haven't got an hour. How can I spend an hour? I don't have any more time at the moment. So there's different ways you can do this. One, well, you could try and start earlier. So that might be an option for you, where you try and start a bit earlier each day. Now, the other thing is, if an hour really is too stretching, then rather than going, well, that's it, I can't do it, I can't fit an hour in, start where you are. 15 minutes. I challenge anyone to not be able to find 15 minutes. At least start work 15 minutes earlier. Get up 15 minutes earlier. If you just did 15 minutes a day over a 5-day week, then, is my maths, an hour and 15. It's an hour and 15. And sometimes it's surprising the amount of stuff you can get done in an hour and 15 minutes of focused work. Yeah? No distractions. So try and get your power hours in, do them at the start of the day, and if you can't do the hours, start where you are and do what you can. Number 4 is about the 25th hour. So, I think I made this promise of how can you find that 25th hour? Unfortunately, I'm here to say I don't have a 25th hour, but the good news is if you don't have enough time, you can always buy someone else's. So this comes back to delegating again, but what I want to talk to you about here is sometimes this is the more personal tasks that we can buy people's time to do. Yeah? So if you're fed up, you've got personal jobs that you need to do at a weekend, it might be cleaning, it might be gardening, ironing, looking after the kids, I don't know. What are those things that actually, if you could just have those done for you, that would give you more time to get the stuff done that you need to in your business. Yeah. So look at where you can get help with those more personal type tasks as well. If you don't have a cleaner, get a cleaner. If you spend a couple of hours doing the ironing, You can pay someone else to do that. You have those couple of hours working on the important stuff in your business. I'm sure you'd be bringing more money into your business. Yeah, so that's how you've got to start looking at it. It's that opportunity cost of your time. So spending time doing some of the more tasks, menial tasks, the cleaning, the ironing, the gardening, you know, that time could be better invested on the important things in your business that would bring more money into your business rather than the cost that you're paying somebody else to do it. Yes? So again, get clear what you need, what would help you, what would free up some time for you. Go ask for recommendations. Then the fifth part I want to talk to you about right now, and this is often what I call it's the missing part of the puzzle. It's something that's not often talked about when other people are talking about managing your time more effectively or how to be more productive. But it's about your mindset. Yeah. And it's if you ever find yourself, and lots of people, doing this, you might be nodding your head now, you're waking up in the morning and before you've, put your foot out the duvet, you're thinking, oh God, I need to do that today. Oh, I need to do that. I must ring that person. Oh, I didn't get back to that person, to that piece of work. Oh my God, I don't know where to start. How am I going to fit it all in? Don't have enough time to get everything done. So before you've even put your feet on the floor in the morning, you're already telling yourself that you don't have enough time to get everything done. Yeah. And that's stressful, isn't it? So you're already putting yourself into that, oh my God, before I've even started doing anything, I feel stressed about my time. I feel starved of time. I don't have enough of it. So catch yourself doing that. You have to catch yourself doing that. You've got to mind your language when you're talking about time. And when you catch yourself saying, I don't have enough time, switch that around and start saying, okay, well, I have all the time I need. Where shall I start? Because you do have all the time you need. You're probably just not using it that wisely at the moment. Start, play with this. Watch out for what's going on in your mind and what you're telling yourself about your time. Because at the end of the day, it's this, you do have the same time as Richard Branson, blah, 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 and all those other people. And it's all about the choices that you're making. It's all about the choices on how you spend your time, where you're spending your energy. And if you're spending lots of energy feeling like you don't have enough time and getting stressed about it, it really isn't helping you. So start to flip it around and look at, okay, have all the time I need. Where shall I start? And you know where to start now. It's with the important because you know how to make the distinction. So yeah, trust me, by doing all of these things, you will start to see the results in your business and you will start to feel less stressed and more time abundant and less time starved. Yeah. And this start each day by selecting 3 things to work on as well. I love this because it's very easy. If you've got, I can't see your to-do list obviously, but if you've got lots of things on your to-do list, then you are going to feel overwhelmed. Your brain is going to look at that and think, crikey, where the heck do I start? You've got to start to focus it down, narrow it down, and start each day selecting 3 things to work on. What are the 3 most important things you can achieve today? Yeah? Even go down to 1. What is the one most important thing for you today, this afternoon? What's the one most important thing that you can get done in your business that's going to make the biggest difference? So start to get clear on that. So please remember, I do, say this, please remember, this is not just theory. So I'm not just here spouting some stuff off to you. This is what I teach my business owner clients to do. And I also walk the talk myself. I don't sit here claiming to be perfect. And sure, I have times when I think, how the heck am I going to get everything done? But because I'm always going on about this stuff, I have to be walking the talk, yeah? Why would you listen to me if I don't do it myself? And I run my business to work less hours than I did in the corporate world and to have more holidays and time with my family. I have to walk the talk, yeah? So what's in it for you? Why bother? Why do this? You've given up your time now. You've stayed with me and listened to me sharing these strategies with you, but you've got to go and take action now. So follow these steps and you will see how much easier it can be to run your business. doing these steps again, you'll feel less stressed in your business, and you'll start to see that some of those goals being achieved, and some of them may have been hanging around for a while. I have so many examples I could show you where I've seen this, and what happens is it's more subtle. So it's not the big, right, I need 2 days out of the office, I'm going to get all this stuff done, because you never get the 2 days. You do them in your power hours, or you do them in your power 15 minutes. And suddenly you start to chip away and chip away and chip away, and you're achieving some of those goals that have been hanging around for a while. And you will start to think differently about time. And you'll start to recognize that you have all the time you need, and you just need to make those smarter choices about how you spend it. So I'm not sure why you showed up today. So it may be because you're sick and tired, because you're not having that time to work on your own business, because you're always spending time doing client-facing work. It may be that you're fed up of running yourself ragged, doing all that client work, and you're still not hitting the income targets that you've set for yourself and making the profit that you want and deserve in your business. Maybe that you're just curious to see how you can get a bigger return on the time you're investing in your business. So I do have, an offer to make to you. So I said at the start, anyone that stays with me to the end, I am going to make a special offer to you. So what I want to do is I want to start helping you to see how you can apply this to you and your business. I know that you're busy, and it can be hard when you're busy, when you're in the middle of it. It can be hard to see the wood for the trees, so to speak. You're too busy in it. And it's about sometimes just taking a step back and having someone to lift us out of all that busyness and look at the big picture view that's going on. So I'm offering to help you. And my offer is a complimentary 30-minute strategy session where I will help you plan out your next 30 days of getting more done and putting some of these tools into practice. And it's a great time of year, I think now, 30 days, let's pretty much takes you up to the end of the year. And it can be now you start to look at those goals that you set at the beginning of the year, what's left. There is still time to get so much more done. And lots of business owners, they take their foot off the pedal. Don't be like them. Don't take your foot off the pedal. They go, oh, December, nothing gets done. No one wants to do business with them, particularly if you're business to business. If you're retailing, you're selling products, you might be your busiest time of year. But if you're business to business, you're a service-based business, mentally, I see time and time again, people go, oh, nothing happens. No one does anything in December. Rubbish, absolute rubbish. You're missing out on a good chunk, a 12th of the year by doing that. There is still plenty of opportunity to get stuff done. So I'm offering you to help you do it and to map out your next 30 days. Now, I've only got 5 slots available. I'm getting pretty busy now in the run up to December myself. So I've got slots available on Monday, the 30th of November at 10:15 or 11. And I've got 3 slots available on Wednesday for you as well in the afternoon at 1, 1:45 or 2:30. So if you want to take me up on this and get me to work with you on your next 30 days of getting more done completely on me, there's no charge for these calls whatsoever. All you need to do is email me. And that's alison@alisonbradford.com with your preferred time, your number 1 and number 2 preferred time, and a number that I can call you on. And then I'll send you over some questions to answer just to make sure we get the most out of that focused time together. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for investing your time with me right now. Let me know any feedback or any questions you've got. So unfortunately, the chat window hasn't been working here. If you do have a question, if there's something specific that I've not covered in the session, then again, just email me your question and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Send it to me, alison@alisonbradford.com. I look forward to hearing from you, to see you take up those strategy sessions with me. And go and make stuff happen. You've got an afternoon ahead of you. I hope you're feeling motivated now to go and get stuff done. Thank you so much, and I look forward to hearing from you very soon.